It's a stranger attack and we don't know an awful lot else at the moment.
The more I've seen of horrible things that happen in the world.
The man who tried to kill her will never be free to harm
The audio
him.
was too graphic to be broadcast.
May provide
Nine men were
closure
killed when
to
the inferno
victims'
swept through the
families
building.
targeted young women unable to defend themselves.
Colin Sutton was a detective chief inspector and senior investigating officer in the Metropolitan Police. He led the investigations into some of the most complex and high-profile
Another 146 victims.
In this series, he will take you inside those cases and show.
Some headlines come and go without leaving much of a mark, but every once in a while, a story breaks that makes people stop mid-scroll and ask the same question. Wait, what actually happened? In 2026, several well-known celebrities suddenly found themselves making news for reasons nobody expected. From late-night traffic stops to heated confrontations and even serious legal investigations, these incidents quickly spread across media outlets and social platforms. For fans, it was shocking. For critics, it was another reminder that fame doesn't always keep people out of trouble. And in some of these cases, the situations escalated far beyond what anyone initially imagined. So today, we're taking a closer look at some of the most talked about celebrity arrests of 2026, the moments that turned ordinary nights into headlines and left the public wondering how things went so wrong. Star 9. Lamar Odom. Late one night in Las Vegas, a routine traffic stop quickly turned into a situation that would make national headlines. Former NBA champion Lamar Odom, once celebrated for his incredible career on the basketball court, suddenly found himself back in the spotlight, but this time for reasons far removed from sports. According to reports, police initially pulled Odom over after noticing a vehicle driving at high speed and making improper lane changes. At first, it appeared to be just another traffic violation, but as officers began speaking with him, they reportedly noticed signs that raised further concerns. Authorities conducted additional checks and determined there were possible signs of impairment. As a result, Odom was cited and later arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence, along with several related traffic violations. The situation quickly became headline news, partly because Odom's personal struggles have been widely documented over the years. For many fans, the news was disappointing. Odom had spent years publicly working to rebuild his life after past health scares and personal battles. His story had become one of resilience and recovery, which made this latest incident particularly difficult for supporters who hoped those struggles were firmly behind him. Following the arrest, Odom reportedly chose to voluntarily enter a rehabilitation program. The decision was seen by many as a sign that he was once again willing to confront the challenges in his life rather than ignore them. Legal proceedings connected to the traffic stop are still moving through the court system. While the final outcome has yet to be determined, the incident served as a reminder of how quickly situations can change, even for someone who has already faced and overcome enormous obstacles. For Odom, the road forward may once again involve reflection, accountability, and the effort to move past another difficult chapter. Number 8. I Heart Memphis. For rapper Richard Maurice Colbert, better known to fans as I Heart Memphis, early 2026 became a chaotic period filled with headlines that few people saw coming. The artist first gained attention years ago with viral hits that dominated social media and dance challenges. But in February 2026, his name began trending again for a completely different reason, an intense police situation that unfolded in Plantation, Florida. Reports indicate that the incident began with a confrontation at a private residence. As the situation escalated, law enforcement responded in large numbers, eventually bringing in a SWAT team. What made the situation even more unusual was that portions of the standoff were reportedly live-streamed, drawing thousands of viewers online who watched events unfold in real time. Eventually, police took the rapper into custody, but the story didn't end there. After being released under pretrial conditions, Colbert allegedly violated those terms by posting videos online that referenced the situation. Authorities stated that these actions went against the conditions of his release. When officers arrived again to take him back into custody, things reportedly escalated once more. According to police reports, Colbert attempted to flee through nearby residential properties, running through neighbors' yards and screened porches in an effort to avoid arrest. The attempted escape only added more charges to the case. Investigators later listed allegations including burglary and resisting officers. For fans who remembered the viral success of songs like Lean and Dab, the situation was shocking. The rapper who once dominated internet dance trends was now facing serious legal complications. Friends and family members publicly expressed concern about his well-being, suggesting that deeper issues might be affecting the artist behind the scenes. As of now, the legal process surrounding the case continues. Authorities have indicated that the rapper may also receive mental health support as part of the ongoing proceedings. Whether this moment becomes a turning point in his life or simply another difficult chapter remains to be seen. Number 7. Kelsey Barnard Clarke for Celebrity Chef. Kelsey Barnard Clarke, a frightening crash in Alabama turned what should have been an ordinary evening into a serious legal situation. Clarke rose to national recognition after winning Top Chef Season 16, building a reputation as one of the most talented chefs to emerge from the competition. Her culinary career had been on a steady rise, with television appearances and restaurant ventures helping her gain a loyal following. But in January 2026, her name appeared in headlines after police in Dothan, Alabama responded to a crash involving her vehicle. According to authorities, Clarke's car had collided with a residential mailbox. While the crash itself caused limited structural damage, what concerned officers more was what they reportedly observed when they arrived at the scene. Police said Clarke showed signs that suggested possible impairment during their interaction. Field sobriety testing was conducted, and she was subsequently arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence. What made the situation even more alarming was that 2 young children were inside the vehicle at the time of the crash. Fortunately, neither child was injured in the incident, but their presence raised additional concerns about the circumstances surrounding the event. Clarke was taken into custody and booked into the Dothan City Jail before later being released. News of the arrest quickly spread through the culinary world, where Clarke had been widely respected not only for her cooking skills, but also for her role as a working mother, balancing family life with a demanding career. Supporters expressed relief that no one had been harmed in the crash, while others emphasized the seriousness of the situation given the potential risks involved. Details about Clarke's blood alcohol level were not publicly released, and it remains unclear whether chemical testing was conducted. As with many legal cases involving DUI allegations, the matter continues to move through the legal system. For Clarke, the incident represents a moment that may have significant consequences for both her public reputation and her future professional opportunities. Number 6. Elijah Blue Allman. For musician Elijah Blue Allman, the son of legendary singer Cher, early 2026 became one of the most turbulent periods of his life. Within just days, Allman was arrested twice in New Hampshire, a series of events that quickly attracted widespread media attention. The first incident reportedly took place in Concord at the prestigious St. Paul's School, a well-known private boarding school. Authorities said they responded to reports of a disturbance involving Allman that resulted in multiple misdemeanor charges. While details about the confrontation remain limited, the arrest itself surprised many people, particularly because there was no widely known connection between Allman and the school. But the situation escalated even further only days later. Police in Windham, New Hampshire, responded to a 911 call from a woman who reportedly said she was hiding in her closet while someone had broken into her home. According to the affidavit filed in the case, officers arrived to find a shattered glass pane in the back door. Inside the residence, they allegedly discovered Allman sitting on a couch and smoking a cigarette. The circumstances surrounding how and why he entered the home remain unclear, but authorities arrested him on several charges, including burglary, criminal mischief, and breach of bail conditions related to the earlier incident. The rapid sequence of events raised serious concerns about Allman's well-being. In response to the second arrest, a judge ordered that he remain in custody pending transfer to a residential treatment facility. For many observers, the decision suggested that the court believed treatment might be an important part of addressing whatever underlying issues were contributing to the situation. As the legal process continues, questions remain about how Allman ended up involved in these incidents and what the long-term outcome will be. For someone connected to one of music's most famous families, the events of early 2026 became a reminder that even those raised around fame. Number 5. Timothy Busfield. For decades, Timothy Busfield was known as a respected figure in television. With memorable performances in shows like The West Wing and 30-something, he built a reputation as a seasoned actor whose career spanned generations of television viewers. But in early 2026, his name suddenly appeared in headlines for deeply troubling reasons. authorities in New Mexico issued a warrant connected to allegations of criminal contact involving a minor. The accusations reportedly stemmed from incidents connected to Busfield's work environment during the production of the television series The Cleaning Lady. According to investigators, the allegations involved two young twin actors who had been working on the show. The news quickly shocked fans and colleagues alike. For someone whose career had stretched across decades of respected performances, the situation represented a dramatic and unexpected turn. Busfield later turned himself into authorities and was formally booked on the charges. Following the initial legal process, he was released while the case continued to move forward through the courts. During preliminary hearings, a judge ruled that Busfield was not considered a danger to the broader community while the case proceeds, allowing him to remain out of custody while awaiting further legal developments. The case also drew attention because of Busfield's personal life. His wife, actress Melissa Gilbert, was seen visibly emotional during court proceedings as the legal situation unfolded. As with all criminal investigations, the case now depends on the evaluation of evidence by prosecutors and the judicial system. The final outcome remains uncertain, but the allegations alone have already had a profound impact on Busfield's public image and long-standing career. For fans who grew up watching his work on television, the situation has been both surprising and deeply unsettling. Chapter 4. Kiefer Sutherland. For many viewers, Kiefer Sutherland will always be remembered as the intense and fearless Jack Bauer from the series 24. On screen, he played a character known for confronting danger head-on and maintaining control under extreme pressure. But in January 2026, the actor found himself facing a very real and very public confrontation that had nothing to do with a television script. The incident reportedly began with what should have been a routine rideshare trip in Los Angeles. According to law enforcement reports, an argument broke out between Sutherland and the driver during the ride. At first, it appeared to be a typical disagreement. However, the situation allegedly escalated into a heated confrontation that included physical contact and verbal threats. Authorities later stated that the driver accused Sutherland of making criminal threats during the altercation. When police arrived, they took the actor into custody and transported him for booking. Sutherland was later released after posting a $50,000 bond, but the legal situation was far from over. The case was forwarded to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office, which will determine whether formal charges should be filed based on the available evidence and witness statements. For Sutherland, the arrest added another chapter to a complicated history of past legal troubles. Over the years, the actor has occasionally made headlines for off-screen incidents, though he has also managed to maintain a successful career in both television and film. Fans who admire his intense on-screen characters were surprised to see the actor involved in another real-world conflict. The situation served as a reminder that even well-established stars can find themselves in difficult moments that quickly spiral into legal problems. Number 3. Prince Andrew. Few arrests in 2026 generated as much global attention as the one involving Prince Andrew, a member of the British royal family. It had already forced him to step away from many royal duties. But in February 2026, the situation escalated in a dramatic and unexpected way. Police in the United Kingdom arrested Prince Andrew at his residence as part of an investigation into allegations of misconduct in public office. Authorities were examining claims that, during his time serving as a British trade envoy between 2001 and 2011, he may have improperly shared confidential government trade documents. According to investigators, the information may have been connected to individuals including Epstein. The possibility that sensitive government materials could have been shared raised serious national security concerns. Law enforcement officials later confirmed that they had arrested a man in his 60s from Norfolk while executing search operations at 2 different locations connected to the investigation. The arrest itself was extraordinary. Members of the British royal family rarely face direct law enforcement action, making the situation one of the most dramatic legal developments involving a senior royal figure in modern history. After several hours in custody, Prince Andrew was released while the investigation continued. At the time of publication, no formal charges had yet been filed, but authorities stated that the inquiry remained active. The arrest marked another major development in a long series of controversies surrounding the prince. Once second in line to the British throne, Andrew's public standing has changed dramatically over the years. For many observers, the event symbolized how even the most powerful institutions are not completely shielded from legal scrutiny. Number 2. Shia LaBeouf. Actor Shia LaBeouf has built a reputation for delivering intense performances on screen, but off-screen, his life has often been just as dramatic. In February 2026, the actor once again found himself in legal trouble following an incident that took place in New Orleans during the city's famous Mardi Gras celebrations. According to police reports, what began as a night of celebration quickly escalated into a bar altercation involving several people. Witnesses told authorities that LaBeouf became involved in a heated confrontation that allegedly turned physical. Reports suggested that multiple bystanders claimed the actor had shoved or struck them during the dispute. Initially, LaBeouf was charged with 2 counts of misdemeanor simple battery. However, the situation grew more complicated only days later. A third individual came forward, claiming they had also been assaulted during the same incident. After reviewing the new allegation, authorities issued another arrest warrant, adding an additional battery charge connected to the altercation. LaBeouf was taken into custody again and later released after posting bond. The actor publicly denied the accusations, insisting that he had not assaulted anyone. However, witnesses told investigators that the confrontation had become chaotic and emotionally charged. Some reports also alleged that offensive language had been used during the argument, which further intensified public criticism surrounding the incident. As part of the legal proceedings, a judge ordered LaBeouf to participate in substance abuse treatment and submit to weekly drug testing while the case moves forward. For many fans, the arrest felt like another chapter in a long pattern of personal struggles that have occasionally overshadowed LaBeouf's acting career. Despite his undeniable talent, the actor's off-screen behavior has often drawn just as much attention as his work in films. Number 1. Britney Spears. For millions of fans around the world, Britney Spears has long been one of pop music's most iconic figures. Her career helped define an entire era of pop culture. But in March 2026, the singer once again found herself at the center of intense public attention after a late-night traffic stop in California. According to reports from the California Highway Patrol, officers received calls about a vehicle driving erratically during the early hours of the morning. Witnesses allegedly reported a black sedan weaving through traffic and driving without functioning taillights. Concerned about the dangerous driving behavior, officers initiated a traffic stop. Behind the wheel was Britney Spears. After speaking with the singer and conducting their investigation, authorities arrested Spears on suspicion of driving under the influence. She was later transported to the Moore Park Sheriff's Station, where she was formally booked shortly after 3 a.m. Following the booking process, Spears was released through a cite and release procedure, meaning she was not held in custody but must appear in court at a later date. Her vehicle was also impounded as part of the incident. Shortly after the arrest became public, Spears reportedly deactivated her Instagram account, a platform she had used heavily to communicate with fans. The arrest came during a sensitive period in Spears' life following the highly publicized end of her long and controversial conservatorship. For years, the singer had been at the center of intense public debate over personal freedom, mental health, and control over her career. Because of that history, the incident sparked renewed conversations about her well-being and the pressures that come with living under constant public scrutiny. Her representatives later described the situation as deeply concerning and inexcusable, while emphasizing that Spears would address the legal matter appropriately. As the case proceeds through the legal system, the situation remains closely watched by both fans and critics. For someone whose life has often played out under the spotlight, the events of that night once again reminded the world just how quickly a moment can turn into a headline. Before you go. Stories like these often remind us that fame doesn't place anyone above the law. Celebrities may live extraordinary lives, but they can still face the same consequences when situations spiral out of control.